Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and namaste to everyone. This is Amit from Crux Center, India, and today we are going to deal with astrophotography, but with mobile phones. Yes, we are going to deal with mobile astrophotography. So it's just a beginner's guide, you can say, wherein I'll be just touching up with some basic introductions, how to take good photographs with your mobile phone. But remember, in pro mode. We are not going to use auto mode, but we are going to use pro mode. So let's jump into it. I'll be showing you a few photographs that I have taken with mobile phones. And let me know after these 3-4 photographs who all are willing to take same kind of photographs with your mobile phones. Just comment in the comment box, yes, and thumbs up. So this is, you can see this is moon over here, and with moon, definitely we have stars. Here you can see this is Orion constellations. This I'm telling for the beginners, because if they are aware of this, that's good. If not, this is actually the Orion constellation, where you can see the 3 stars. That is the belt of the Orion. And this is the nebula, Orion Nebula known as. This is Betelgeuse, and this is Rigel. So this entire constellation is known as Orion. And here we have other constellations. So this is how this photograph looks like with mobile phone. Remember, this is all that we are going to deal with only mobile phone today. This is again moon with, this is Jupiter, this is Saturn, and here there is a Milky Way. Definitely it's very faint because I live in the city and it's entirely, light polluted. So it's in the center of the city. It's almost 6 or something in the darkness scale. So it's pretty light polluted area for me at least. This is the moon halo, not entirely formed, but a very faint moon halo that formed one of the day, where you can see here it is again Jupiter and Saturn visible through the clouds, a very faint clouds. Here is actually the very crescent moon with Mercury and Venus. Definitely, this is not a very good close-up. This is a good close-up, yes. This is again with the mobile phone. Remember, moon, crescent moon. This is Mercury and this is Venus. And this is some sort of star. I don't remember what was the name of the star, but it is a star. Are you satisfied? Do you want to click this kind of photographs with your mobile phone? Are you willing to? So, oh, nice. So many of them have commented, yes, that's really nice. Definitely, see, this is mobile phone. Every mobile phone have their own limitations. Some mobile phones have, more zoom than the other mobile phones, like today's recent updated mobile phone have, 20x zoom, 60x zooms. So definitely the zoom capability as per the mobile phone will vary, but definitely a normal phone can take these kind of photographs absolutely without any hurdle. Let's jump into it. Few tips for having a good interactive session. Take book and pen. Take note of every single thing, whatever you understand, you find it something new, because I'm pretty sure there are many of the you who are already aware of mobile photography. So you might learn a single point, but at least I'll be happy that I was able to share something which was new for you. So take down, and if you have questions, definitely you can also take it down. But in the end of the session, we will have a Q&A session where we will be discussing all the questions that you have. Okay, so let's move ahead. Few FAQs I'll be clearing out. Like, most of them asked me, how much is the investment required to get a very good click? So my always suggestion is the best investments from your side is time, practice, and patience. That is what is required in any learning, actually. Not only in photography, but in any learning, you require time, patience, and practice. That is the, only mantra we can say for the success. Now, what is the best camera? So speaking of mobile phone, whatever phone you have is the best camera. Start with it. Go ahead. Don't hesitate that, my camera has just 8 megapixel. Their camera has 64 megapixel. Don't worry at all. Pixel is all, it's just the glamorous thing that is going on in the market. But believe me, anything will do. What is the best place to shoot? Definitely looking forward for the, today's pandemic. Home sweet home, best situation. Go in the gallery, go on the terrace, have a good view. If you have a very clear view, doesn't matter which part of the sky is visible from your balcony, but at least start practicing. Definitely, some of them might be, thinking, I can't see moon because I am north facing or something like that. Go ahead, start practicing. Whenever you get an opportunity, take that photograph. What is the best style? Definitely your style is the best style. And for whom is this session? Definitely the enthusiast, the astronomy and photography enthusiast, those who are willing to share their, observation, their work, and also their knowledge. You're always welcome. Let's jump into it. The difference, or we can say the similarities between a human eye and a camera. A camera is an enhanced version of human eyes. That is what every technology that we have today is. So human eyes, upgraded version is a camera. So how a camera works is the same way that a human eye works actually. In human eye, we have pupil and iris. I'll be focusing on that too only particularly right now. So pupil is the hole inside our eyes, and iris is the muscle that controls the hole to enlarge it and to contract it. So the same way we have aperture in our camera, and diaphragm is one thing which allows the whole size, that which decides the whole size, how much to open and how much to close. And as a retina, as we see right now, you are seeing me, so or this presentation, so this is all getting printed on, reflected on your retina, and this is how your brain is interpreted. The same way we have sensors, so the sensor plays an important role. But again, coming to mobile photography, there are only two things we need to learn. First, we will try to understand. I won't be going to the basic definition that is on the internet. So I'll be jumping to my definitions, what I have learned through these years. Photography is capturing or freezing the moment in digital format, because today we have everything digital. It's not that earlier we have roll films and those kind of things. So today everything is digital. So it's like capturing or freezing the moment in the digital format, preserving the past moments for the future reference, or digitally painting the light with some device. This is all, a basic short definition that I can explain and easily explain what photography means. But understanding the photography, because, just simply taking a mobile phone and, clicking photographs is not photography. That is, it's okay. Mobile phone has made it very easy, believe me, very, very, very easy and very convenient for every single person to click a photograph. But if you understand some basics, definitely it will help you a lot. Considering the astrophotography, there are some points you need to remember, because it's not just photography, but it's astrophotography. So understanding the night sky is very important as we are dealing in astrophotography. So Stellarium or any other night sky app will do, which will, show you what is the phase of the moon, where are the planets, what is the, what constellations are visible, everything the night sky has, you will be able to see in that particular software. And the movement of the night sky, you need to understand in which month the moon is going to rise from which side and going to set on the particular side, because it's not always that moon will rise from the east and will set on the west. That doesn't mean it will reverse, but it's only because of the tilt. We know very well other all things, because of the tilt we have some movement of the earth, and because of that the moon also. Constellation and its feature, you also need to know and study about this. Finding the target with the reference stars, like for example, if we want to find a Polaris, like the North Pole star, the people from the northern hemisphere, sorry guys from the southern hemisphere, because there is no such particular star which shows, the South Pole. But yes, northern hemisphere, you are lucky enough to have North Pole with you. But to find a North Pole star, you can take help of Ursa Major or some different constellation. Ursa Major is the best one, which acts as a reference stars or reference constellation. So this is how you need to understand. Understanding the direction, definitely which is north, south, east, west, you need to understand that during the night time. Understanding your camera and shooting and post processing, all points are equally important. You cannot bifurcate or distinguish or compare. Okay, I'll skip this, I'll understand this. No, all the points are really very important for understanding the astrophotography. Shooting the night sky, photography, the basic three pillars: shutter speed, ISO, and aperture. Definitely considering the mobile photography, aperture is not what we are going to look upon, because 99% of the mobile camera won't provide you the function or the facility to change the aperture. But yes, shutter speed and ISO is one thing that we can focus upon. So we will understand what is shutter speed and what is ISO. By the name itself, you can understand shutter speed. You know, most of them, you might have seen the shutter. Usually the shops and other things, they have shutter to open and close. So it practically means the same. The speed of that shutter opening and closing practically means that the shutter is actually opening and closing in that frame of time, that duration of time. So shutter speed is the time duration sensor is exposed to capture light. Okay, so the shutter, opens up, the light comes in, hits the sensor, it is captured by the sensor, and the shutter gets closed. So this is how a camera usually, or the shutter speed usually works. In astrophotography, definitely, we need to have a longer exposure or longer shutter speed. So we will be exposing our sensor for a longer period of time as we are shooting into low light condition. So why are we talking about this? Because this means you need to have a steady tripod, or at least a steady base, wherein the mobile phone won't be moving at all during the entire session. And remember, steady base is really very important for astrophotography, mostly. Understanding, see, if you understand this, it's entirely okay. If you don't understand this, then also it's entirely okay, because in the end of this session, I'll be providing you a cheat sheet through which you can refer it and you can shoot the night sky pretty easily without any, hesitation or, problems. So what is shutter speed? I have explained you now how shutter speed actually works. So I'm today only dealing with astrophotography. So I haven't taken the shutter speed, which is over and above 1/8 of a second. Usually we have till 1/8,000, like 1/8. This is 1/8 of a second. That will be 1/8,000 of a second. So that is how a shutter speed works. Most of the phone will be having 1,000, 4,000 or 8,000, whatever they have. But in astrophotography, we have to deal in longer exposures. So we'll be dealing from 1/8 of a second to 32 seconds. So, the longer the shutter speed, like from 1/8 to 32, I'm comparing. So the longer the shutter speed, more motion will be captured in the mobile phone. Now, what do you mean by motion? The movement. The movement in the frame or of the camera itself will be captured during that particular movement. So 1/8 will capture less motion compared to 32 seconds. And it's quite obvious. See, 32 seconds, it's 32 seconds. And here it is just 1/8 of a second. Okay. Less light, more light. Now, what do we mean by less light and more light? It's just how much light we are allowing to enter the camera and touching the sensor. So in 1/8 of a second, it's quite obvious the shutter will be open only for 1/8 of a second. And that particular moment or that particular time, the light will hit the sensor. But in 32 seconds, the entire session of 32 seconds, the shutter will be opened and the entire light will come in and hit the sensor and it will capture the light. So that is how we capture the very faint stars also. And one more thing you need to understand, your camera doesn't see what your eyes usually see, because this is one of the common complaint from every single beginner photographer. Like what you see from your eyes when you go in auto mode and try to click, like you are able to see the moon, the stars and everything very clearly from your eyes. Please don't compare your eyes with camera, because your eyes is fabulous, miraculous and mind-boggling thing that nature has created. So man have created, definitely it's reaching out, but you need to understand the difference between the camera and your eyesight. So once you try to understand that, okay, this camera is what this sees and this is how I have to make the camera see what I am able to see. Okay. Once you understand that, you will definitely capture very great photographs. Moving to next, I'll show you a short video how actually a shutter speed works. So, it will be in different, like it is 1/200, then it will be 1/2000, something like that. And, it will increase 1/1000, like that, it will increase the speed. But you need to understand what I am trying to tell you. This is a DSLR camera, because mobile phones shutter is really very small. So it is very difficult to show you. This very clearly, we can see what do you mean by shutter speed. If you can, turn on your volume to maximum so that you can feel and understand the opening and the closing of the shutter. Okay, here we go. This is how the shutter opens, or the mirror gets up, sorry. This is the shutter actually. The shutter actually moves and exposes light to the sensor. Because it's a DSLR, we have mirror actually. You can see the green part, which was visible for a very, very fraction of seconds. That is actually the sensor, and that is what sensor is exposed to light. Now you can see it very clearly. This is how your shutter actually moves and allows light to go and hit the sensor. Okay, so this is how a shutter actually works. So you need to understand that whenever we will be having a longer exposure, you can capture even the slightest and the smallest movement because of your hand or disturbance or anything else. So that's the reason you must have a steady base. Not necessarily you must have a tripod, believe me, because I have taken many photographs which doesn't require. You can even adjust it as per your convenience. If you have some things like, I usually use anything available with me, a stone, book, or anything available with me at that particular moment. I'll use it as a stand. I'll keep my camera and my phone to that particular angle, and I'll simply shoot it. We'll go ahead. Let's understand the movement or the fluctuation between, the shutter speed. How you will see the difference and what is the difference. As I have explained you, the higher the shutter speed, like in terms of short and long, the shorter the shutter speed, the less light will enter the camera, but at the same time, it can freeze the moment. Longer the exposure, it will capture the motion, that is the movement. And second thing, the image will be blurred if there is a movement. Okay, but in low light condition, definitely longer exposures are the best. It's just a video. Again, these are some technical terms. If you understood, it's okay. If don't, if you are not able to understand, it's okay. You just understand that higher the longer the shutter speed, the more will be the motion captured in it. Okay, let's go ahead and look for this video. This is a, what it is called, fidget spinner. So this fidget spinner is moving and now increasing. So see, 1 by 1000. So it is just 1 by 1000th of a second. So there I was able to see the wings. But over here, when I increased the exposure, the longer the exposure was, it was capturing the motion. See, it is blur. Yes, you can see here it is freeze. I can freeze the moment. So this is how the difference is between the low shutter speed and rather the fast shutter speed and the longer shutter speed. So longer the exposure, more motion will be captured. Shorter the exposure, less light, and freeze the moment. Okay. Now, second thing, what is available in your camera is ISO. ISO is just basically, it's okay, international standard for, International Organization for Standardization. It's okay, but you need to understand only one thing. ISO is the sensitivity of your sensor. Okay. So how sensitive you want your sensor towards light is called ISO. Okay. So the higher the ISO, the higher will be the sensitivity towards the light of the sensor. You will say then that's good, because the higher the sensitivity, the more better the picture will be, but it doesn't work that way because the sensitivity comes at a cost. Now, what is that cost? That cost is noise. What is noise? Let's look up in the next image. Here you can see the same photograph taken with same shutter speed, but at different ISO. Okay, ISO 100, 200, 400, 800, 1600. This is how one stop actually works in this. So you can see the difference between ISO 100 and ISO 1600. You know how light is acting. Okay, but again, this is just the sensitivity part that I have told you. Like ISO is the sensitivity, sensors sensitivity towards light. So the higher the ISO, higher will be the sensitivity towards light. It will multiply the light. It is not that the sensor is expanded or exposed to more, but it is more sensitive. It will multiply the light in the given point of time. This is what I was talking about. Higher the ISO, more will be the noise. You can see ISO 100 is very clear, but at the same time, ISO 30 to 100 is also good, but at a cost. What is the cost? Noise. This is noise, and this in every astrophotography, noise is the basic problem, or you can say it is but a natural phenomenon. If you would have seen the photograph of the crescent moon, Mercury and Venus, that was there were two conditions. First of all, it was super zoom, and secondly, also ISO was higher. So there was a bit of noise in the photograph. So ISO is just the sensitivity. So less the ISO, less will be the noise. More the ISO, more will be the noise. At the same time, less the ISO, more will be the like depending upon more the light pollution, less must be your ISO. Less the light pollution. I'm talking about light pollution. Remember, if you are inside the city shooting, night sky will have you must keep your ISO lower. But if you go in the darker skies where there is no light pollution, you can keep your ISO higher also in that condition, because automatically the light pollution and the noise goes down. Why? Because of the light pollution, you have light scattered all around the sky. You cannot see, but the camera can. See, there are certain things we know today that our eyes cannot, but a camera can. Okay, so the same way, we are dealing in astrophotography, so we are exposing our camera for a longer duration. So, for a longer duration, concentrating, the light become concentrated. So it creates more noise in the image. Now we will go through some basics or some technical terms also while seeing the photographs. Now this is the southwestern sky from my home, where I can see it's again, this is Jupiter, this is Saturn. So here will be, Scorpius, and here will be Sagittarius, something like that of constellation. Here we have a moon, and this is actually Scorpius, you can see, and here somewhere will be the Milky Way. So this is how you can click a very good photographs with your mobile phone. Again, here it's northeastern sky. So I'm pretty sure Cassiopeia and Andromeda. Yes, here it's Cassiopeia. You can see Cassiopeia, W kind of shape. This is what a W looks like over here. If you can see Cassiopeia, again, it's a northern constellation. For the southern hemisphere, it might not be visible. You might be seeing some different constellations. And in opposite to Cassiopeia, it's always Andromeda. So Andromeda, it's over here somewhere. And here, if it's possible to see, this is actually the Andromeda galaxy. Okay, going to next. Again, eastern sky. Here you can see this is planet Mars, and this is my eastern sky. And we can see other all stars and constellation and so on. But again, if you will see over here, this building is crisp sharp. Why? Because building doesn't move. Even though my exposure is longer, neither my camera is moving nor the building is moving. But towards the left, if you will see, some branches of the trees were moving during that particular exposure. So they are blurred. This is what will happen. Okay. If your base is not steady, everything in the frame will be blurred. So you need to be very sure that your camera, your mobile phone is really very steady. Now, this is pre-dawn hour photograph, wherein you can clearly see there is only one star visible. So that is actually the planet Venus. Really very bright, and even in the pre-dawn hours, you can see it very clearly. So it was only 1 second exposure. That is, SS is shutter speed. And you need to understand that is sometimes it's also called as exposure, but it's okay. Shutter speed is 1 second. ISO was 100. Because it is pre-dawn hours, we have a lot of light in the in the sky during pre-dawn hours. So 100 ISO was also enough. And shutter speed 1 second. Remember, this is 1 second. Okay. Again, I have shown you this photograph where we saw this was Orion constellation. This is Sirius, and here we have Moon. So this was 32 seconds exposure. 32 seconds. Okay. And ISO was just 100. Why? Because I wanted my photograph noise free, almost noise free. But even if you can see there is noise in the center of the camera, you can see there is clearly noise. Again, there is some limitations to the camera. My phone has that limitation. I'm not sure everyone will be having this, but definitely mobile phone has this, ring always coming when you edit it, especially when you edit it, because you need to extract the star's light. So this is kind of, processing problem, but yes, this does occurs in post processing most of the time. But again, this is much and decent photograph. Why? Because it was ISO 100 only. If I would have kept shutter speed lower and ISO higher, there would have been more noise. Okay. I'm pretty sure not everyone is getting confused with. Now here you can see there are clouds, stars, and in the middle we have Orion constellation over here. Again, you can shoot it. Again, it's 32 and 400 because there was no moon. So I could boost my ISO. When there is moon, definitely you can't boost your ISO because the entire screen will be whitewashed. Okay. Like nothing, only white screen will be visible if your ISO is too high. Because moon, and that also it was crescent moon. So it was 132 seconds. The bigger the moon, the shorter will be the exposure automatically. You will when you practice, you will understand and get it. How does it works? This was Moon Mars conjunction. This is Saptarishi, or also known as Big Dipper. You can see this is question. Some people call it question mark, a spoon, or whatever you call. It's a Big Dipper kind of constellation. So here we go. Here it is connected, and here it is the tail. Here you can even see this particular star is actually a dual star. So with mobile phone, you can capture that. Excuse me. This is again 32, 400. From my home or from my particular place, I can extend to 400 because there is a lot of light pollution till 12 a.m. After 12 a.m., there are particular lights that are, the hoarding lights that are turned off. So after 12 a.m., I can usually boost up my ISO, but till 12 a.m., 400 is the limit I can go. Otherwise, again, whitewash will start my photographs. Here, again, you can see 32 seconds, 100, because again, this was near to the evening time. Even you can see the blueness in the sky. I could have removed that, but I intentionally didn't remove because I wanted to show you that it was near to the evening sky. And this is ISS, that is International Space Station. And, this is how you can capture. This is again Jupiter, Saturn, Milky Way from my home. Again, in the late night, you can see I have boosted ISO to 800, 32 seconds. And moon, 32 seconds, 200 again over here, because again, it was a crescent kind of moon. Here, it went again to something quarter moon, I'm pretending. You can see it has almost washed out the half of the frame. Very bright. Okay. This is again because of, clouds, halo formed. And you can see my exposure is only 8 seconds. Although my ISO is 800, here it was a photograph. I'll shift to the next because this is a zoomed version of the same photograph. Although this looks beautiful because it's showing some story as the clouds are moving, as the evening time, and all those some sort of thing. So definitely see every picture have its own story. It's really very beautiful to understand that story behind the photograph. This is how you can zoom in, but you need to remember once you zoom in, your shutter speed will go down. Okay. This is one of my, moment or memorable photograph. Why? Because this was the Comet Neowise. You can see in the center of the frame, Comet Neowise is visible. So it was spectacular and also miraculous to see a mobile phone actually could capture the comet, which was really very small, but with the tail also. Really, you can do many things with mobile camera. Believe me, today's mobile cameras are going crazily amazing, crazily amazing. You can even see that here again we have a Big Dipper over here in the northwestern sky. It is almost at the verge of setting. Clouds with stars, rainbow. Again, it is not astrophotography, but yeah, definitely it's beautiful. It's related to sky, so I have put down. Now, once you go out in the outskirts, you can actually boost your ISO to very something higher side, and shutter speed is really very long shutter speed, like 32 seconds. But your important thing is ISO, because there is less light pollution. You can boost your ISO and capture more details of the night sky. Lighted, amazing, definitely. So go for it. It will be fabulous thing. This is recent photograph where actually I have captured a meteoroid, and this is the largest meteoroid capture in my mobile phone. Really, believe me, it's amazing. Very big meteoroid. This is how it is, a very large meteoroid. Beautiful and mind-boggling. Here you can see there are two bursts. Actually, this is the one point where it bursted. This is the second point where it bursted actually. It's amazing to see. Definitely, this is advanced astrophotography where you can get these kind of photographs. Definitely, you can see there is a lot of noise. For the beginners, might be difficult to understand, but some amateur astrophotographers who are there, you can understand this is noise. But you need to understand this photograph is taken with mobile phone. Imagine the clarity, the detailings we have captured with the mobile phone of Milky Way. It is amazing, mind-boggling. So you can go for it, and definitely we will have some things later on also. Few photographs to show you the power of darkness. Why do we need a less light polluted, or actually light pollution free sky? Here you are. A landscape with the bright, mind-boggling stars. Again, I'm very close to city, not very far away. So you can see there is a lot of light pollution near the horizon or near the mountains. Once you go up or at the zenith, you can see it's pretty clear comparatively. This is the cheat sheet I was talking about. If at all you understood the entire session, it's okay. If you understood a bit of it, that's also okay. If you didn't understood anything, that's also entirely okay. Follow this cheat sheet. Practice, patience, and time. Remember, time, patience, and practice. These are the three things you need for a good photograph. So take a screenshot, photo of this, cheat sheet. Go ahead and practice. And tag me, send me photographs. I'll try to see. I'll be happy if you tag me. So see that people are getting inspired and understood some things, and they have actually started shooting photographs. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and we have our group Moon over us. So definitely that's where you can ask any question if you want. We'll be always there to support you, guide you for the same thing. And very, very, very special thanks to Mrs. Boni, Amritanshu ji, Sugu sir, and Sonavne sir for introducing me to this group and the team Moon over us. Thank you guys. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions, we can go ahead with that.